Hello, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec podcast, where we triple your impact per engineer. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, advisor and consultant to tech executives worldwide, and our subject today is clearing vision. Whenever I start working with a new client, one of the questions I ask them is, how confident are you of your vision right now? As in, do you have a vision? Can you imagine where you would like to take your team in the next year or two? Can you imagine where the company should be in a year or two? And quite often I get answers that boil down to, who knows? We're a startup. I have no idea where we're headed. A year into the future, that's so much. Now, believe me, I get startups. All right, I've worked with a lot of them. But saying, who knows where we're headed, and just waving your hands is not the right way to handle this. Let's talk about this as adults. Yeah, things are going to change. Yes, it will be extremely hard right now, if not impossible, to determine exactly what your team or what your organization should do for the next 12 to 24 to 36 months. All right. But that is not what I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you for a specific plan detailing every single sprint between now and 2028 is going to look like. All I'm saying is, do you have some vision about where you're headed? If you don't, then I can promise you that you will make a lot less progress throughout those years. Your team is likely to make a bunch of bad micro decisions every single day, and you are essentially cutting your chances for success. Good teams that achieve good levels of autonomy, agency, innovation, need some vision to aspire to. If you cannot imagine the wanted future state that you as a whole, as a company, are after, you are less likely to come up with ideas that will help the company achieve that goal. If the company is constantly thinking a quarter ahead, a month ahead, it is essentially myopic, and therefore acting as if some sort of a greedy algorithm is going to achieve what you're after, and that is rarely the case. Yes, startups need to move fast. Yes, you have a lot of fog of war that you need to go through. Nevertheless, without clarity about where you're headed in the long run, without stating where the company is striving to be, without doing that, your team's efforts are likely going to be diffused. Now, if you're thinking that I'm just saying something, but you specifically have a different condition, yes, other companies might be able to think ahead, but you are a special kind of snowflake where no thinking ahead over the next 3 months is possible. Let me tell you two things. One, somehow, most companies I talk to think they're a special snowflake. Two, you're wrong. When I do strategy work with companies, when I help CEOs and CPOs decide on their OKRs, for example, and laying out what we'd like to see achieved through the course of the next year, I say that if the company is not able to highlight one or two areas that are strategic, that are extremely unlikely to change in importance through the next 12 months, then the company is clearly unable to perform. Strategy here means that we know where our factors of success are likely to be. And this is what we're going to focus on, be it your go-to-market, your specific technological moat, whatever it is. You probably have a couple of things that, even though you might not be clear on all the details, you can already start moving towards. And if you don't have that, if you cannot come up with that, then you shouldn't be doing anything else. You should be sitting down with your entire executive team and boil down what are the core issues that you need to be working on, the main areas where you need to achieve success and define a vision around that. Without that, nothing of substance is likely to emerge from your efforts, no matter how good each and every one of your people is when it comes to their professionalism. Even if I can make the keyboard go clickety-clack as fast as lightning, if I'm writing code that doesn't achieve any real business outcomes, then who cares? So don't allow yourself to just wave your hands and give up on creating a solid vision. You owe it to your team to define one, especially if you want to create a team that has remarkable impact per engineer. Sit down with the CEO, CPO, CTO, VP of whatever, and don't stop until you get some white smoke and you define where you're headed. That will be your first step towards success. That's it for this week. If you haven't yet, do subscribe to my newsletter. It's the best newsletter online for tech executives. The link is in the show notes. And if you have any questions or comments, my email is also in the show notes, and I'm always happy to hear from listeners. Thank you. Talk to you soon.